College football on FS1 is sponsored by Hampton by Hilton for the stay. The golden hour here in Cache Valley along the Wasatch Range as we get ready for the third quarter. A 1-point Air Force lead. Utah State will get the ball first. Welcome back in to our booth. Charles Arbuckle, Guy Haberman. We've got everything we could have asked for from that first half, including urgency from the opening possession.
Oh man, and I think what it is how many series or how many things you can get. You don't have possessions, and I think that's the problem in a game like this if you're playing Air Force and you're Utah State. Every possession counts.
Utah State got 3 plus like a minute. Brad Roberts, this has been the guy you ride. He's already over 100 yards.
If you talk about a ride or die guy, this is it. He's going to run the football. 21 rushes in the first half. A touchdown, 105 yards, really able to effectively keep this Air Force offense rolling. He was a key component like we thought he would be. Nothing different there.
It's his 14th 100-yard game for Roberts, which ties the Air Force record. They've only lost once when he had 100 yards rushing, and it was last year against Utah State.
Yeah, they started off kind of fooling us, Guy. They made us think, hey, we're going to throw and run, and all of a sudden it became a run downhill kind of game.
Terrell Vaughn, and flags coming in at the end of that run by Vaughn. Utah State participated in the aggressive run game for their part. They were over 6 yards a carry to Air Force's 4.5 yards a carry. Reintroduce you to our referee, Scott Campbell.
Scott's been in there getting some gun work.
During the return, holding number 13, return team, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, first down.
You want to talk about a guy making plays. Brian Cobbs, his pops played at Penn State and the pros with New England. Got to be a happy dad. His brother played at JMU, but he went up and made some plays in that first half. And I think you're going to see a healthy dose of Brian Cobbs in this second half again. Always looking to run after the catch and doing a nice job of scoring the football.
Cooper Laga making his first home start here for Utah State. Debuted as a starter last week against BYU. Gives it to Calvin Tyler on first down, who was over 6 yards a carry, but nothing there, just a couple. Jonathan Youngblood on the stop.
He's been the main carrier. We thought we might see some Robert Briggs as well, but he's been a key component to this offense in the first half.
Utah State likes to go quickly. Laga, he gets that ball to the speedy Terrell Vaughn, and he finds a gap, and he's got a first down across the 25 near the 30-yard line. Another flag is in the backfield to pick up a 14 yards on the play.
And this is a late flag. Herrera looks at the official, and the ball was already moving down the field.
You're saying inside linebacker Christopher Herrera told on himself? Is that what you're saying?
No, he
Personal foul, blindside block, number 61. Offense, half the distance to the goal, still second down.
Waylon Lapuaho with the penalty.
Lapuaho got called on that one. Those are the key things you can't do when you're starting a drive. He's going to come from the right side of your screen, and he hits Herrera right there, at the bottom of your screen. They've gotten away from ear hole shots and things like that. They've really started looking at that closely, but it was a late flag.
So instead of a first down out near the 30, it's a second down and very long. And Calvin Tyler going a whole lot of nowhere. By the way, for Utah State, it's the 5th penalty today. They come into this game averaging 9 a game, which is 128th in the nation.
They needed to clean that up. Ball security has been pretty good other than that late interception, which was just one of those you're trying to drive the ball down the field. But you've got to play clean against Air Force.
Third down and a long 15. Laga from his goal line into trouble. Castanway on McGriff. A matchup there of a man who already has a big pass breakup. And McGriff, who they targeted a lot last week, 6 times, only had 1 catch against BYU. Maybe he's a little frustrated. He has not had a catch yet today.
And he was the leading receiver coming in from last year to this year and hadn't really had a lot of looks today. He didn't look like he was on with the quarterback on that one in particular. Looks like Lagal was expecting him earlier to make that break.
First punt of the game for Stephen Katzenlee. Castonway will watch that one bounce out just across midfield. And so Air Force will start. We'll see exactly where they mark it. Yes, in their own territory, just barely, 43 yards on the boot.
Well, if you're Utah State, you've got to be thinking, hey, we already had maybe one of our 3 or 4 possessions in this half. And if you're Air Force, you're like, hey, our rush yards have gone up. We have run the ball effectively, and we control the time of possessions, which we usually do. Even though we're only averaging 4.3, we're winning on the scoreboard and on the ground.
Air Force ended the first half with 29 straight carries. This is 30 straight runs for the Falcons. MJ Tafisi there with the tackle. Tafisi had 8 tackles in the first half for Utah State to lead the team.
Brad Roberts was tied for second in Air Force history with 1,300 plus rushing yard games coming in. Now he has 14 in the first half. So he might get 200.
He is climbing the Air Force all-time rush list in terms of career yardage. Omar Fatah has entered the game at fullback. Roberts is off the field. Blake Anderson is furious on the sideline that his team just had to use a timeout.
Utah State, first of the half, media timeout.
So just 2 left in a game in which he knows it's really going to matter. The biggest sporting event on the planet returns to Fox Sports, and for the first time ever, it's taking over the holiday season. The FIFA World Cup begins November 20th on Fox and FS1. Why did Utah State take a timeout?
Well, they had 11 guys on the field, but they lost count. They lost Eldridge way up top. We'll show you a little bit later.
Out of the defensive timeout, they give it to Roberts, and he burrows his way for a first down.
Now, they have the right game plan, Guy, but the problem is this game is really making your offense have to make sure their possessions count, and your defense has to find another way to get at least a stop. For those guys, people that love arena football, it used to be you just go back and forth. You needed one stop, right? Well, against Air Force, they don't let you play at that high pace. The frenetic pace is not for them. They're going to slow this thing down.
But they did start this drive at midfield, which is basically an arena football-sized field. Here's Roberts just churning forward. Roberts for 4 more yards. He's got 120 on the day. This being his 14th 100-yard game. That ties him with Bo Morgan, the former Air Force quarterback from 94 to 96, the most 100-yard games in a career.
Yeah, the physicality is one thing you have to have. Troy Calhoun, the head coach, talked about it. The problem is for the Utah State side, they can't stop this run when they know it's coming.
10-3 last year, 11-2 in the previous full season for Air Force. Roberts gets a couple more. It'll be 3rd down and a long 4 coming for Air Force.
And if you sell out, David Cormier, number 7, is a huge, big-time receiver that'll go make a play over you. You can see there, tied for most in school history with Bo Morgan, who was an outstanding player in his own right. Also, I was talking to Brian Noor, the defensive coordinator before the game, who was at Ohio and Wake Forest. He was just had nothing but praise for this offense. Having to face it every single day in practice.
Yeah, and his defense faces second fewest number of plays in the country. While Cormier screaming at the quarterback, Daniels.
Number 7, offense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
And that was 3rd and 4.
Yeah, crowd noise got to him or something. He just didn't know. Right there. Just a little too quick. He sees that movement on the defensive side. He's really not looking at the ball, looking at the defense, and it gets him off. Now, you talk about a big-time receiver. 41.8 yards per catch. We don't call his name a lot, but when we do, it's usually a big play.
3rd down and 9. Daniels, his first throw since the first possession of the game. doesn't happen. He pulls it down, he races out of bounds, makes it 4th down and 4, and we'll see what Air Force does.
They're kind of in that no man's land. They may kick it, though, just from the standpoint of what we talked about the other day. Yeah, just not quite to that point where they could kick that field goal, and really in a position where they are playing well. Their defense has played well, pick the ball, and pin Utah State back.
Second punt of the day for Carson Bay. Cooper Jones is back deep. It's a fake, and it's a 1st down. Omar Fatah picks it up.
You got to be ready for this. The up back right there. Oh, my goodness. Fatah, a fullback by design. He's going to right there get the ball and take off, and watch what happens. Everything else here, you got punt safe on and still can't get to him. Punt safe is where your defense is there, and they don't recognize it. And Blake Anderson, who coaches the punt block team, is disappointed in that. Wow.
What a big conversion for Air Force with a 1-point lead. And now here's Daniels, who reverses field, and he gets helped out of bounds by Johnny Carter. Remember, Dom Tatum had to start the game. Gervin Hall, the starting safety, number 6 for Utah State, is back in after having to sit the first half to complete the targeting penalty from last week's BYU game, and he's a big deal for them.
Yeah, he is. But that fake punt takes a possession away almost in essence. Huge call by Air Force.
Omar Fatah, whose blood is still probably pumping, trying to step up to block. Shot to the end zone, up in the air, and incomplete. Hunter Reynolds in double coverage was the man who got a hand on it. Ben Jefferson was the target.
Well, and Johnny Carter was almost the guy that came up with it in the back. This is a huge play by Reynolds. Watch the ball pop up.
Oh.
12 is right there. Oh, he just misses it.
Matt Davidson, where are you? That breaks the streak of 36 consecutive run plays. I said 36 straight runs for Air Force.
Hey, you want to come play some big boy football? We're going to just run it till you stop it. The Diesel is coming at you.
Back to the ground. And Roberts gets the couple.
This is a nice
3rd and 8.
Nice job by Utah State's defensive holding here.
So here comes another 4th down, and now they're in field goal range.
Yeah, that was a huge play. They could have let that really turn another way. You stop them there, you force them into a field goal, and that's not a guarantee that you're going to get 3 points. This is huge for Utah State.
First attempt of the day for Matthew DePore. This is from 40 yards away. He's made 12 of his last 13 kicks. And this is a boomer right through. And so Air Force, after the fake punt conversion, it nets 3 more points. A 4-point game, under 8 remaining in the 3rd quarter here in Logan. Under 8 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. A 4-point deficit for Blake Anderson's Utah State team. You see the green ribbon there on his shirt. It is Mental Health Week, and that means so much to him. A very powerful message he shared last month about the death of his son, Kaysen, who committed suicide back on February 28th. And he has been a leader around this program and around the country. The conversation that, while so difficult for him, he finds so important to have. Here's Terrell Vaughn on the return for Utah State. And the offense will come back onto the field. And he said it's been very difficult to talk about, but Mental Health Week means so much to this program. When his son died after the funeral, Danny Gonzalez, the coach at the New Mexico, called him up and said, a bunch of the coaches around the league, we've taken up a collection. We want to start a foundation. And do with it what you will. They started a foundation in Blake's son's name honor. And he said there are days I cry at practice. There's days I cry in the meetings.
I show up how I show up is how he said it. And he said Mike Thiessen was so instrumental, he and his wife, the offensive coordinator, who he's known for a number of years at Air Force. He said he was so good to him during that time.
Here's Cooper Lega throwing to McGriff, his first catch. And of course, Blake Anderson has not shied away from sharing tragedy when his first wife, Wendy, died of cancer back in 2019. That was very public. But he said, I'm going to ask the players to be transparent. I have to be transparent with them, as hard as it is. And we are getting through it together. Here's Calvin Tyler with an explosive run and picking up a first down. And, it's a topic we could talk about all night long. And I think so many people have heard Blake Anderson's story, and so many more may benefit from hearing it, but he just wants to make sure that from his tragedy can come some good.
Purpose inside the pain was the thing that I took away from it.
Cooper Lega escapes the pressure. He's got a safety valve and he uses it. And it's Calvin Tyler spinning away from T.D. Blackman for a couple more yards in a nice game.
My old offensive coordinator, I can hear him now. So good, so fine. Homer Smith would have said that about that right there with Lega, what he was able to do. Get outside, throw the ball down the field, and make a play. And you can pressure this young man, but he always seems to be looking down the field, looking for a receiver, and that's what's so effective with this offense. Now they just got to score.
Second and 4. Lega with the pitch. First touch of the day for Robert Briggs, and Bo Richter is there to blow it up.
Take that out of the playbook today, please. Because if you're going to run against an option team, they see this all the time. And they're not going to say, oh, this is something new. I love this wrinkle. I saw it last week against Navy, guys. Come on now. That's one call you want to take away. I'm sorry, but that just was not a good play for that Utah State team.
Air Force trying to sub. Free play. They didn't get their guy off the field. And it is another great catch. A highlight reel day for Brian Cobbs along the sideline. We'll again check on this flag, but I think Air Force had too many men.
Cobbs made plays when he was at Maryland.
Rolling on the field is a catch for a first down. Illegal substitution. Defense. The 12th player did not make it off the sideline in time. That penalty is declined. First down.
And the reason that's happening is because of the tempo now, the pace. They're going faster.
Look at Cobbs. He already has a 31 and a 36-yard catch. That's a 22-yarder. Was that the best?
That was
I don't know how you rank him.
I mean, he has made some plays tonight. They were concerned about this receiving core. And Troy Calhoun is almost on the football field. He just stepped back.
He's the coach for clarification. Here's Briggs, and he bursts a good run. A pick up a 6 on first down.
Thanks for that, partner, because I saw him running out. I mean, he was almost to the numbers.
Just in case anyone thought he was the safety.
Oh, man.
And movement, flags, let's stop it.
Yeah, tempo sometimes
False
gets
start.
you.
Number 10, offense. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
It's Justin McGriff, the receiver.
And see, this is what makes you can't have self-inflicted wounds. McGriff, who looked frustrated on the last drive, they need him to be, his head needs to be here. Castanway is out there, locked up with him.
Calvin Tyler getting a bit of a breather, perhaps. Briggs remains out there with Terrell Vaughn flanking the quarterback Lega. And there goes Vaughn out of the backfield. And there goes Briggs. Here comes heat. And Lega's got nowhere to go. T.D. Blackman with the sack.
You know why that happened, Guy? That spy stuff we talked about. See, they thought that they could out-hustle. But you can't hustle a guy that knows, I got to keep my eyes on you, number 5. And Blackman did a nice job of coming with a delayed rush and was able to get there.
First sack of the day. It's only the 7th sack that Utah State has allowed this year, but it's a big one. It's now 3rd and 15.
He was keeping an eye on Cooper Lega. Earlier was Alec Mock, who we haven't seen, and Jonathan Youngblood is the other one that kind of keeps paying attention to where Cooper Lega is going.
Pressure again. Lega looking, throws it past the stick. First down. Cobbs won't stop.
But I think
Rolling on the field. court. The contact put the receiver out of bounds.
Yes.
Established for
That's
a
what I
first
was
down
looking
catch.
for, because I saw the official throw his hat, but he's saying because of the contact, he was able to come back in, and usually that's not the case. They're going fast. Now they're going to Troy Calhoun.
I think he called a timeout.
Yeah.
He wants this looked at. But like you said, Charles, the contact from the defender is what the official said put Cobbs out, and then he reestablished. And reestablished just means any part of your body is back in bounds.
Good point. And the thing is, you can't run. Like, if you just run out of bounds and not be forced out of bounds, you can't be the first person to make the play. Official throws his hat to signify that, and I think that's what happens there.
Before Air Force called their timeout, replay was going to stop the game to look at the previous play.
So they may even get a timeout back.
They will. They will get their timeout back. John Hanson is our replay official. And look, Utah State wants to hurry up. The replay official beat him to the stoppage. Will this play stand? We'll find out next. All right, we reviewed this play. The officials announced during the break that this play will stand. Why, Charles?
Because he was forced out of bounds, and then he was able to establish himself back in bounds. Now, if you just run out and you're not forced out, you can't be the first guy to catch the football. He secures the catch. That is why it was ruled as a catch.
Brian Cobbs, who had a career-high 10 catches last week against BYU in 13 targets, is back to doing work with his new best friend, Cooper Legas, today. Legas looking that way, throws it to him, catch number 7.
You know what this song is right now? Me and my homie. Because every time Cooper Legas is looking for somebody, it's going to be 8. And then 0 will catch a few as well. But he has got a great rhythm with Cobbs right now.
Jamari Bellamy is the man they're picking on over there. Second down and short for Legas. Legas, heat coming from the backside. He doesn't see it. Yes, he does. Somehow keeps his feet and eventually gets pushed out after a loss of about 8 yards.
Get
the second sack of the drive.
Get rid of it, young man. You know you don't have a chance here now. You hold on to it a little bit too long. Get rid of it. You're out of the – yeah. Right there is where he had to make the decision, and he didn't. Blake Anderson right there in front of him, the head coach, is like, get rid of the football.
Well, they've had drives that look like they are marching and then somehow go backwards today.
Yeah.
Field goal, get ready. You could read Blake Anderson's lips right there. This is right on the verge of field goal range. Legas over the middle, and it's caught by Terrell Vaughn. That's going to get him about a yard shy of the line to gain.
Got an offensive lineman down.
We'll see what Utah State decides to do. They'll have a moment to think about this.
I think it's Cole Moults.
56.
Yeah, and the big thing was we talked about what you really like about Legas. His short to intermediate passing is really where he thrives. That was a good example on that dig route, but a really good catch and then tackle by Air Force of not allowing him to get the first down.
So while they have that moment, this big play here on 3rd and long sets up an opportunity perhaps to go for it.
Yeah. Vaughn has been another key component and a key weapon for him. And then 56 going to get rolled up right there. Oh. Part of the game, and he's jogging off the field. That's why they wear those braces. And another thing, you just got to, Howard Mudd used to always say, keep those feet moving when I go out and watch coach practices because of those things right there.
So what are they going to do here now? 4th and less than a yard.
They have their offense down. They're going to go for it.
The ruling on the field. The ruling on the field was the runner short of the line to gain. Previous play is under further review.
So they got a break here and they can make a decision. But on 4th down conversions, they're 35%. 6 of 17 on the year.
What our official Scott Campbell just explained is they're going to review the exact spot of the ball. It's such a critical moment in the game. Who knows how many more possessions you'll get if you're Utah State. You're down by 4, so you don't think it's much, no question here about what you do.
Yeah.
And as you said, this is a team that goes for it on fourth down more than anybody in the country. So if anybody would go for it here, it's them, but maybe everybody would go for it.
Well, I think they feel safe. And then also, too, let's look at this. We haven't seen Levi Williams, but he's another key component that could be a quarterback sneak in this play. You know, he's a big quarterback, transfer from Wyoming, and you can see Trey Taylor with a really nice stop, and it looks like it's not 1 yard but 2 yards.
Well, he's going to get the forward progress.
Yep. Okay.
I think he did not come back on his own volition, right? Right now it's fourth down and a yard.
Let's keep an eye to see if 17.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. 4th and 1.
Levi Williams could play a role. They may keep Cooper Lagai in. But this is just an interesting call here if they're going to go for the field goal. I mean, the first down on fourth down.
4 yards per carry right now. Calvin Tyler Jr. is over 5 yards a carry so far tonight on just 12 carries.
Well, Lagai's in the game. They're keeping him there. Calvin Tyler right next to him.
They were stopped twice in this situation in the red zone in the first half and had to settle for a field goal. Lagai's going to throw. Goes back to the air and back to Cobbs. When in doubt, feed Brian Cobbs.
Jamari Bellamy is in best way he could be, but Cobbs goes out and attacks the football. That's how you go get it. And that's why they were able to get the first down. They trust him enough right now on 25 that they feel like they can get 2 or 3 yards.
Another highlight reel catch. Calvin Tyler Jr. breaks into space, and his first touchdown of the year puts the Aggies on top.
They had great blocking on this play from the tight end position, but the interior offensive line did a nice job of making that play. Josh Sturzer with a huge key block on that play.
Sturzer getting the start today in place of the injured Brock Lane.
He's going to be in here, and then there's a bunch of other blocks that take this up. He comes back and then out. I love it. Almost a yo-yo, and then shows up and has a huge block.
Play clock low on the point after, but it's up and good. The first Utah State touchdown by a running back since the season opener against UConn, and a drive that had some adversity, had a fourth down conversion, had Brian Cobbs eating, and Calvin Tyler punched it in. 3-point game in the third quarter. Well, after a wild Friday night in the Mountain West, it's been a wild Friday night here, a Saturday night here in Logan. A great game between Air Force and Utah State. The Utah State team just 1-4, but playing better football. And look, the Mountain West so wide open. Whoever wins this game is going to feel like the Mountain Division is out there to be had. As Nimrod sends that one into the end zone. Let's take a look at our game summary. With 1:45 left in the third quarter, Brad Roberts, his 14th career 100-yard rushing game for Air Force. Cooper Lagai has shined in his first home start. And Brian Cobbs, after a 10-catch performance last week against BYU, has had another spectacular night.
Yeah, I mean, 2 weeks in a row, he's become the guy and made plays for Cooper Lagai. And Brad Roberts, who we thought would get a 200-yard game, was slowed down in the second half.
Zeke Daniels, the quarterback, and his offense back to work as he evades the first man. Patrick Joyner Jr., who has not had a sack this year after 3.5 sacks last year. The transfer from Miami was able to create the stoppage, and that let Byron Vaughns get there for the stop.
Well, the nice play here is that you get penetration right away, and then you just keep going. Tackles for loss or sacks are huge against a team like Air Force.
Puts them behind the sticks. 2nd and 14. Daniels pulls it, getting a couple blocks, including Roberts out in front, and he gets about 8 yards back. Tavian Coleman, the JC transfer, with the stop.
when you talk to defenses that play triple option teams, in particular like Air Force, it's almost like they're Velcro when they get on you. And you've got to do a nice job as a defender of shedding those blocks and getting to them. But anytime you watch them in these big gash plays, it's because it's like Velcro. They just stick to you.
Air Force normally good on third down, but they failed on their last 4 third down attempts. This is 6 yards to go. Daniels gives it inside, and Eldridge is able to pick it up. A big carry for him. 9 yards per tote he averaged coming into this game. Had 4 in the first half, and that was a big one.
Combo of speed and power and explosion. Watch him right here. They use him inside, and he has blocking right in front of him. And the interior offensive line, as we've said, has done a nice job here. You got a guy that's down for Utah State. He's able to get up. I think he was trying to get a shoe. We're going to the 4th quarter.
Air Force happy to let that clock
third quarter
wind
time out on the field
and conclude. It's a beautiful night in Logan, and a good finish waits ahead. 4th quarter coming up. College football on FS1 is sponsored by Hampton by Hilton. For the stay. Here comes the moon on the eve of a full moon, hanging over Maverick Stadium, where it's 65 degrees here into the night to start this 4th quarter with flags.
They may get Caleb Holcomb just a little bit too soon.
False start, number 51, offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Caleb Holcomb, the move.
That moon is moving.
The moon is moving, that's what I was trying to say. The moon is moving, and we're moving.
Great sight lines, and a great game to go with it.
Omar Fatah in the game at fullback. 3rd false start penalty, by the way, of the day for Air Force. So give the home field and the home crowd some credit. And this is Eldridge. He leaps forward for about 4 yards. But 2nd down and 12 coming up.
Gervin Hall was trying to stay outside and contain, and he did as best he could. Eldridge almost broke the contain. And Gervin Hall again coming in. He missed the first half. Key component for him. Played in 3 bowl games while he was at Miami.
Amari Terry goes in motion. And here's John Lee Eldridge again. And this time he's got a first down and he's out to midfield.
Cormier got away with the hold on Gervin, but Eldridge was able to get outside quickly.
And now Hunter Reynolds.
Timeout for an injured.
The key to this Utah State defense is down hurt. This is the guy in charge of everything, the safety, the 6th-year man from Michigan. And so we'll step aside on the eve of a hunter's moon here in North Utah. Tomorrow on Fox, a huge doubleheader kicks off with the Falcons taking on Tom Brady and the Bucs. Then in America's Game of the Week, the Cowboys take on Matthew Stafford and the reigning champion Rams. It all kicks off tomorrow at 1 Eastern on Fox. Check for the games in your area. 1st down and 10 after the John Lee Eldridge conversion. And here is Brad Roberts stepping through, and with his momentum backpedaling for a first down to the 40-yard line. David Cormier and Jalen Johnson a couple of blocks.
If you're going to play in this offense, you better be able to block as a receiver. And fresh legs by Brad Roberts. Watch these guys in front of him, opening the hole, and he's just going to run through it. Man. Mason Carlin with a huge pancake on that play.
Amari Terry goes in motion. Daniels wants to throw. He's got Terry. Touchdown, Air Force. 40 yards. And the Falcons are back in front.
They will catch you sleeping and exploit it. And Daniels is a much better thrower than we give him credit, but he doesn't do it a lot. But when he does, you're going to have an open guy. Amari Terry going in motion and just sneaks out there. The receivers pull everything out on basically a wheel route, and he's wide open.
How about this? His second catch of the year, a senior from Jacksonville, Florida, and that's Amari Terry's first career touchdown.
And he caught Utah State slipping all the way. You don't expect him. He's only got one catch coming in.
Matthew DePore, the point after, and it's 24-20. You know, Blake Anderson and his defense are going to have to keep scoring. Air Force has the lead. Air Force has taken the lead here in Logan, 24-20, a game that's seen 3 lead changes tonight, but 2 in the last 3 minutes of game time.
This has been everything we expected. I mean, I thought Utah State was going to play well at home after they played well against BYU, and Air Force doing what Air Force does.
214 yards on the ground for the Falcons today. This kick goes into the end zone. Take us back to the touchdown, Charles.
Yeah, you got him on, you have him covered, so he's going to go in motion here, right? This person is covering him. He's going to get caught in the wash because of these receivers running routes that way, and he's going to be wide open. Watch Dominique Tatum, number 4, going with him, but he's going to run into his own man, and that is where it opens up. Or it was another busted coverage because he was going with them. So I have to think that he's covering him man for man, and there's nobody there.
So now Utah State's turn, 25-yard line. Cooper Lega and his offense. They get it to Nana Davis. Pickup of about 3 yards.
A long handoff trying to just run a screen and get guys out in front of him. Nana Davis with a lot of speed, but really good job by Air Force of just corralling.
Lega has hit on his last 8 throws today. This time he'll give it to Calvin Tyler, who runs up the back of his offensive lineman. And again, just patiently finding his way to another first down. Jacob South was the lead blocker, a pickup of 7.
He gets better as he goes along. Anytime you watch him on tape, but when you see him like this, he just gets better each time.
He's nearing 100 yards. Takes the fake. Lega throws. There's another completion. He's now hit 9 straight. And this time it's Terrell Vaughn. And that'll bring up a short yardage situation after an 8-yard pickup.
The guy's getting the rhythm. He's feeling comfortable. This is his second start, but he feels a lot more comfortable now.
Now he's going to run it, spinning forward, and he's got the first down. Coming in, Trey Taylor tried to rip the ball out, but there is the high school wrestler, 2-time state champion in that sport, hanging on and putting his body right in the middle of it.
Slippery also, able to just bounce off people and get that first down.
Blake Anderson told us he has coached a wrestler turned quarterback before at Arkansas State. He had Lane Hatcher, who was a state champion wrestler, and he said the one thing about a wrestler, they're not afraid to mix it up, they're not afraid to work. And he said it's almost spooky sometimes how much Lega feels no nerves, or at least shows no nerves.
Yeah,
Nana Davis, another catch.
He said sometimes I want him to get hyped. He said, but he is competitive as all get out.
Second down for this Utah State offense, and here's Tyler again. And he's got another first down.
Doing a nice job coming off the ball. And it doesn't hurt having a guy like Bonner who can still be there to help you.
But what does hurt is Alec Mock, who was injured in the first half. We have not seen him since early in this game for Air Force, the leading tackler, inside linebacker. And here's Tyler again, and maybe a little bit of a face mask. The Utah State coaching staff is going crazy. Tyler's going crazy as Trey Taylor came in, but no flag.
Yeah, it was a one-on-one situation. It looked like Taylor got that helmet and pulled him around. Let's look on the replay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a miss one by the officials.
Second down and long. Pressure picked up. Lega gets out of there, and he's able to get out inside the 35-yard line. Well, how about this young man just staying ready? He was the 3rd stringer last year and coming into this year. Logan Bonner got hurt, had the foot surgery this week, and he's out for the season. His career done, and Lega's been ready to step in.
But what I like right there is, even though it was a negative play, he was still able to just keep going. Nothing phases him, calm and cool. You can see Logan Bonner there, who's really been helping him get ready and prepared.
Legat taking a deep shot. He wants McGriff, and it's just off his fingertips. Working on Ian Castanway.
Yeah, that was close. Right to the fingertips. Legat with the ball. He's going to put it out there for his receiver. McGriff trying to get back on the train track. Can't quite get there.
Well, Logan Bonner had such a prolific career. Of course, last season was spectacular for this Utah State team and this offense. And we've seen that, you know, while it's not Logan Bonner, they've had shots to throw the ball down the field. 4th down and 4 here. What will they do? Going for it from the 35. Legat. Inside pitch to Vaughn. He's got the first down. To Vaughn. Gone. Touchdown, Aggies.
Anthony Tucker, dial it up, baby. Because what you do here is with a guy that has speed, get him inside, flip it to him easily, and he's going to take it to the house. That was a huge 4th down pickup for this Utah State Aggies football team.
34 yards.
Pulled out the old school shovel pass on him. With the option look. So I stand corrected. I told him to take it out of the playbook. They left it in.
To make it a 3-point game. Back and forth we go. Everybody was just marching along in the first half, and now here in the second, a shootout broke out. Eck in front. Homecoming here in Logan, and it's turned into a party. A 3-point game here in the 4th quarter. We've had 3 lead changes in the last 6.5 minutes. Air Force will once again start at the 25-yard line. Let's take a look at some college football mayhem. Sponsored by Allstate, our mayhem moment.
Shovel pass underneath, good blocking out front. And if this guy makes one miss, he's got blocking all in front of him, and he's going to take it to the house. Terrell Vaughn with a real nice shovel pass and score on that one.
He's had some great highlights this year. A 100-yard kick return for a touchdown earlier this season, but that one maybe at the top of the list. So now Brad Roberts with 135 yards under his belt. Picks up 1, maybe 2 on that play. Tavian Coleman has been doing the dirty work all night long on the tackle. And it's 2nd and 8.
He was holding on to the bottom of that ankle for dear life. He wasn't letting Brad Roberts get any more yards. Man, these guys have been battling. Healthy amount of respect between both programs. Seems like Air Force is getting their rhythm going. Utah State has been doing it. Let's see what happens here with the last 9 minutes and 40 seconds.
Here's Roberts, tackled by Byron Vaughns, who's been everywhere tonight, and he's feeling it.
Oh, man. Get up and do your thing, young man. He talks a lot of trash to opponents. You can see it on film, but he makes plays, and that was a huge one right there. Again, only giving up a yard on the first one and no yards on that one. Now you put Air Force in a bind, because usually when they throw the ball, it's by deception. You don't know it's coming. Now they think it's happening.
It's noisy in here. Daniels under pressure. Makes a play and a catch. Cormier, his best receiver, when it looked like Zeke Daniels was dead to rights. A flag has come in late after the play. The result of the play is Cormier about 1.5 yards shy of the line to gain.
They're going to call defensive holding, and then before that, Vaughns had a chance.
Pass interference, number 21. Defense, spot foul, automatic first down.
absolutely killer. Andre Grayson starting in place of Michael Onwenu, the starting cornerback who was injured last week against BYU.
Yeah, he's going to be playing Cormier. Cormier chills him out and then goes, and then, okay, I see my quarterback scrambling. I go make a play and get my body in front of him where he has to come through me. I didn't see pass interference on that.
Well, give Hazik Daniels some credit, too. If not for his escape act in the backfield, that play never develops. Play clock is low. So Air Force gets the first down instead of a 4th down and short, and they'll hand it off to Jalen Johnson, his first carry of the game, and the ball comes out. Utah State says they have it. Andre Grayson just committed the penalty, and now he recovers the fumble.
Recovered by Utah State. First down.
We knew we were going to see more of Jalen Johnson today, but on that carry, he gets stripped. And Grayson, who had just been called for a penalty, comes away with a fumble recovery.
Just the 8th turnover of the year for Air Force.
Huge play.
Johnny Carter.
Woo, what a punch out.
Johnny Carter, who started his career as a receiver here at Utah State. And what a bounce right to Grayson.
And Jalen Johnson with the huge run. That would have set them up for a nice continuation of the drive. Wow.
And now he's got to hope his defense picks him up. A 3-point Utah State lead. And Lega, escapes in the backfield, steps past another defender, and gets pushed out at the 40.
Lega with the nice 2-step. They're going to go tempo. Watch this move right here. Okay, you think you have me?
Yep.
Oh, I got you.
Christopher Herrera saw a sack, and then he saw error. 16 yards for Lega.
We have seen some plays, and Lega has just really got his rhythm, not only in the run game, but the pass game.
Calvin Tyler, big hole for him. Bounces it outside, and finally Goff makes the tackle after a pickup of 8.
Lapa'aho, 61 with a nice block here, right inside. Watch him just lock up Youngblood.
Now, Blake Anderson thought that their work last week in the run game against BYU was starting to pay off. Now Lega breaks free, and he scores! Cooper Lega in his first home start extends the Aggie lead.
The way you beat a team that runs the ball, if you can do that to them, it's demoralizing. And Cooper Lega and that offensive line on that last drive just did it all.
The Aggies started 1-4. They needed a spark, and they have found one in Cooper Lega. To make it a 10-point game. A fumble gave Utah State possession right near midfield. And Cooper Lega just had to run. Cooper Lega and his Utah State team, what a night for them. Up by 10. The young man who made his first career start last week against BYU. Logan Bonner had been the stalwart at quarterback, the defending champions last year. They dominated in the conference title game and went on to win in a bowl. And such high expectations coming back to this season. And then they started 1-4. And you wondered what would happen to Blake Anderson's team this year. Would they fight? Or would they lie down? And the answer is fight.
I saw the fight in the BYU game, and then I definitely have seen it today. Air Force, don't count them out with their ability to strike back quickly in the run or the pass, but they don't like being in a position where they have to play from behind like this.
Brad Roberts had 21 carries and 105 yards in the first half. He's 8 carries, for 31 yards here in the second. He's not on the field right now. This is John Lee Eldridge. And this Utah State defense has been putting up a fight. MJ Tafisi leading the way.
They were really trying to go with their tailback. They moved Roberts way out, and then now let's see if they put him back in the backfield.
He is.
Yep.
Air Force, who loves to use the clock. It's not their friend right now, down 2 scores. Daniels pulls it, and he's going to get out of bounds at the 33-yard line.
Well, if you're Utah State, your thought is don't let anybody behind you and don't give up any big gash runs that gets Air Force right back into this ball game.
Third and 3. Noise picking up from this Utah State crowd again. They've been great all night, haven't they? Eldridge once more, and he gets out to the 40-yard line, and that's another first down for the Falcons. 8 yards on that carry.
It could have gone for more. Grayson with a nice tackle. He's going to be blocked. You can see them working outside to get this pitch, and then Grayson just beats his blocker, who I think was Ben Jefferson. That could have gone for a lot more yardage had he not made that individual tackle out there.
The good news for Utah State, injured earlier, Hunter Reynolds, the star safety, returned for them. He's in the back end trying to defend this pass from Daniels, who's looking, cuts it loose. The tight end, Brendan Angle, who had a catch early in the game, his second catch of the day, and that's a 15-yard pickup. For those of you tuning in to see Fresno State at Boise State, that game is available streaming live on the Fox Sports app and on FS2. We'll get you out there at the immediate conclusion of our game. And that's a big game, a rivalry game. 2 teams needing a win. Certainly Fresno State after the loss to UConn last week. Daniels, good pocket, cuts it loose off the shoulder pad of Cormier, maybe a little behind him. Hunter Reynolds right there in coverage, wagging the finger.
Well, and what you have now is that you know they're going to throw the ball. You can defend Cormier the way you want to. Usually he's in a one-on-one situation. Now he's going to have double coverage in some cases, and he's not going to just be running free where he can average 41.8 yards a catch. Excuse me.
Daniels 3 of 7 throwing it today. It's 43%. Did throw a touchdown pass 2 drives ago. Second down. Fatah and Tafisi right there. Boy, Byron Vaughns has been putting in work.
Yeah, he has. This second half, he has just shown up. He was dealing with an ankle injury. He had it spatted up heavily last week. Still has it spatted today. But it looks like he is finally starting to get back to himself.
Now third down at 9. Daniels to throw again. No, he pulls it. Design run, another first down. Pulled down by Hale Motuapuaka, the defensive tackle, a 10-yard pickup. And that a very effective play for Air Force.
That was a really nice design of a play. And sending all of your folks at the defense and then let Daniels just pick where he wants to go.
Clock ticking down towards 4 minutes. Daniels over the head of Ben Jefferson, who does just 1 catch so far this season.
Like I said, watching them in warm-ups, they did a nice job of really throwing the football in the passing game. But a lot of times it's with deception and everything else. Right now, you know it's coming at you.
Air Force 1-1 in the league entering tonight with UNLV and Boise State coming up the next 2 weeks. Amari Terry was the man in motion. Daniels steps up and he throws an interception. It's picked off. Johnny Carter, who forced the fumble on the last possession, intercepts Hazik Daniels. And that's his first pick in almost 8 games.
guy. It just looked like he made the wrong read on that particular throw. And then you get more comfortable if you're Utah State knowing, hey, now we see a different team. You throw the ball to us, we got all those people in place. God love it. You can see here, this defense now knows they have to pass the football. They're going to flood that zone, and he just throws that ball off his back foot. Johnny Carter right there for the interception.
Back-to-back turnovers for Air Force in Utah State territory. You saw the defensive coordinator, Ephraim Banda, picking up a Johnny Carter who has forced both turnovers, one on the fumble, he forced it, and one on the interception. And Ephraim Banda, what a fun guy, the defensive coordinator. We had a chance to talk to him for a while yesterday. He spent 5 years at Miami with Manny Diaz as Air Force takes the timeout. He's now, because Manny Diaz is the defensive coordinator at Penn State, one of just 2 Hispanic coordinators in the country. And he told us he was so excited. You can see maybe he feels just a little of the weight off his shoulders. They spent so much time preparing.
This is why I love football. This kind of stuff right here. When your coach carries you off, but part of it is you could tell the weight even yesterday of I'm not getting any sleep. This has me up. And anytime you play a triple option team, it puts you in that mindset. He said, but we got to get takeaways when we get an opportunity. We got to stop them. And they did a really nice job of understanding and making adjustments, because when Air Force comes out in the second half, they usually are clicking it on all cylinders.
Well, Banda made it so clear to us it's not just him. You know, he spent 7 years as an analyst and a quality control coach before he got his shot as a full coach on staff. And he said, he told us this yesterday. Here's Calvin Tyler. He said, if we win on Saturday, it will be because of our quality control coaches and our scout team. As Air Force takes its second timeout. He said Ethan Morris, our senior analyst, Tim Burmeister, B.J. Edmonds, and Mike Zuckerman, those were the guys that coached the scout team, and they spent hours upon hours. Mike Zuckerman broke down over 2,000 triple option plays over the last 4 or 5 years just against the fronts that Utah State would play. And them combined with Chase Tua Tagovailoa, the scout team quarterback, and the best scout team offensive line he said he's ever had. He said, give those guys this win if we get it.
Guy, and that's the thing I always want to know. Who is the guy that showed you the look to give you Daniels so you would understand? And that was a great conversation, because he gave us all the information of who was really, you know, making the sausage, so to speak.
Yep. He said hours upon hours.
Oh, man. You could
tell.
For
guys who never get the recognition.
Yeah.
Maybe one day will, but he has such an appreciation for that staff. So 1 timeout left for Air Force, under 4 minutes remaining, a 3rd and 9 here, and flags. And a false start against Utah State. It'll be the 8th penalty.
Number 74, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
It's against Chandler Dolphin, the center, who's had a really good game today. They have not corrected the penalties. They have corrected the turnovers.
Yeah, that was the one thing they had to improve on. Now, the penalties, if you're the center, man, he's going to get roasted for that. You can't be the one moving. Probably moved his head, moved the ball, trying to mess with people. Come on. They're going to get Chandler, especially if they win.
3rd down and 14 now. 1 interception from Laga, but it came on not a Hail Mary, but a deep ball before halftime. Utah State going to force Air Force to use its last timeout, maybe. We'll see. Troy Calhoun stepped out onto the field, and Air Force does use its 30 seconds. Time now for the Old Trapper Smoking Player of the Game, sponsored by Old Trapper. What's your beef?
Cooper Laga dishing, showing you some of the javelin throwing and the wrestling that he had, but just making plays, making people miss, battling. This Air Force defense knew they had to stop him, and he, knowing that, still found ways to get to the house and help others. I don't know about the little dance there, but I do know he had a heck of a game.
73%, 78% completion, 18 of 23 for him, plus 6 yards a carry. He carried the ball 13 times. Now, Air Force has not returned a punt yet this year, but this would be a spot to do it, although Amari Terry's not going to get a chance, as that ball off the foot of Stephen Kotzenlee gets across midfield. 42-yard punt from Kotzenlee. And there's the numbers for definitely a candidate of the player of the week in the league. But if nothing else, he's the smoking player of the game.
Well, the rush yards, the passing yards, and the one interception like we talked about, it was in the half. The ball hung up on him. Clean that up. But the thing is, he's just getting better and better. You watch him on film, he is improving because his game is slowing down for him now.
John Lee Eldridge and Omar Fatah in the game. Here's Daniels back to the air, and that is complete to Fatah, who is back from injury last week. Make that Caleb Rillos, who got the start at tight end today. It's Rillos' first catch of the day, pick up of 15 yards.
First catch on the season as well. We talked a little bit about it. Would he be able to make some plays? That was a nice catch by him, keeping this Air Force team in contention.
Still over 3 minutes remaining if they could score quickly. Daniels underneath, incomplete. A big hit by Greshik there. That was Amari Terry, the intended receiver. Boy, Greshik came in violently.
He came in. Knocked Terry back. Terry, who had that nice touchdown catch earlier in the half. Greshik has been all over the field as well.
Against a down and dirty physical team.
Oh, yeah.
Utah State has matched the physicality today. Daniels to throw on second down. And just has to throw it away. Cormier was in the area. Flag is down. Tavian Coleman. And now a second flag is in. Byron Vaughn's has just been a headache for this Air Force offensive line, and he's let them know about it.
Yeah.
Holding, number 63. Offense, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Yeah. Still second down.
And what you have is now you can't come off the ball and fire off like you were earlier. So Smalley right here is locked up against Byron Vaughn's, and he just brings him down.
Second down and 20 now. Vaughn's had a couple of hurries last week against BYU. 6 tackles today, but you really feel like you felt his presence more than that. Daniels is going to pull it down, and there's Byron Vaughn's with another stop.
I talked about it earlier. Don't let them be Velcro, right? Don't let them stick to you. Byron Vaughn's on this play, he goes down in and then bounces back out. Watch right here. He's going to come in, get blocked, and then bounce back out and make this play. Look at him there. Nice job of taking on Fatah and then getting off the block and then going and make a tackle.
Daniels steps up and he throws to Cormier. Cormier can't break out of the tackle, but he's very close. This will make it a 4th down and about 5 upcoming. Vong Pachan on the stop, 14 yards the pickup.
They were trying to double team Vaughn's. They just threw him down. It could have been holding. Fortunately for Air Force, it wasn't caught, and now they're going to kick a field goal here. Got the field goal team on quickly.
Matthew DePore, and this is right along his depth, 49 yards. Timeout called before the kick, which hit the upright. And Blake Anderson yanks his headset off. He called the timeout before the kick.
Timeout. Utah State. The second of the half. 30 seconds.
He outthought himself on that one.
He has been beaten by a fake on 4th down that I wonder if that's in the back of his head. Not that that would necessarily be the spot to do it.
But the quickness with how they ran out could have made him think, hey, what is going on here?
Don't want to commit a penalty. Maybe that as well. Remember, we're almost at 4,800 feet. This is the 6th highest stadium in terms of elevation in the nation.
Is that what was wrong with me the other 2 mornings? I was on the
it could have been.
Elliptical.
Yep.
You got a couple of workouts in. I was like, woo, I was sucking wet.
So that kick from DePore had plenty of leg. He just hit the right upright.
Yeah, he had all the distance on that.
Before the snap, Utah State called a timeout. It's going to be 4th down for Air Force.
DePore is 1 of 1 today from 40 yards, which means he's made 13 of 14. But is this... Okay, so here comes the kick team back out.
He had the leg.
He's about halfway up that upright.
Yeah.
Brendan Bentley is the long snapper. Carson Bay, the punter, is the holder. And DePore will get another shot at this.
I think you still have to be on guard for a fake, but with that distance he had on that last one, I think this is going to be a kick.
Needs this to keep the game going. On the way, plenty of leg, and he got it. Matthew DePore benefits after Utah State calls the timeout. It wipes out the miss, and Utah State will have to defend now an onside.
One of the officials was hitting the head after the ball came down, but this was true. Woo! And then watch the ball. Oh, you don't see it, but it came back, and the official looked like, who hit me in the head? Great kick by DePore.
Now it's time for the hands team.
Yep.
If you're Utah State, if you're Air Force, no timeouts left, 1:42. This is a team that has had 2 great years, the last 2 full seasons. This game last year ultimately determined who won the Mountain Division. Both teams went 6-2. Utah State took it on the strength of the tiebreaker. Boise State leads the division right now at 2-0, playing Fresno State tonight. But whoever wins this game is going to feel like they are right in the mix.
You are. I mean, you got to think. If you're Utah State, you're able to recover this, ice the game. You're in a much better position than you were before you started this week. Air Force looking for anything they can get. If they can get this ball back, go down and score, take it into overtime.
First onside kick of the season for Air Force. It'll be Matthew DePore to kick it away. And now whistles, and Utah State is going to take another timeout.
They want to identify what it is and where they're going to be.
Take a look at the Mountain West standings here. And last night, San Jose State and Doug Brumfield, the quarterback, he got hurt, but San Jose State dominated UNLV. Nevada lost to Colorado State, who got its first win of the season. And you can see on the left side there in this Mountain Division how 1 win if you're Utah State, and you've got 4 divisional games coming right up.
Yeah, it puts you right in contention. Puts you right in contention, and you've got to have your hands guys out there.
Byron Vaughns, by the way, is out there as well, number 11, who's been a game wrecker. We'll see if he tries to take somebody out. He's at the very end of that line as you're looking down the Utah State in blue. So here's the game, and Utah State recovers it. Perfectly done by the hands team, and it was Justin McGriff, and a good moment for McGriff, who'd been frustrated a little bit tonight, maybe with a lack of opportunities, and he steps up and makes a winning play at the end for the Aggies.
Coming through as a receiver, you want to be there. You've got those guys coming up, but McGriff does a nice job of coming up, securing the catch, and possibly the win.
And all of it still lies out in front of Utah State. Got off to obviously a very slow start. Cooper Legat taking over last week for the injured incumbent quarterback and Logan Bonner. And they got tested today. Air Force really brought it. And Utah State was ready for it. Legat with the kneel.
Guy, and talking to both of these programs, they expected this to happen. They have battled, especially last year. Blake Anderson can't be happier. I mean, when you get a win, man, it is great.
And from Bonda, a year's worth of work put in as the defensive coordinator for this game. He told us he was so excited to see if everything they had planned for was right. Well, and they were right.
Yeah, and Guy, you know this, when your guys come through, he'll be able to sleep tonight celebrated a little bit. But I also think this Cooper Lagai, him starting to find his rhythm helps. His team is starting to come together. And I think for Air Force, Troy Calhoun talked about it. It's a tough matchup for us. He knew it was going to be that way.
For Air Force, it'll be just the second loss in its last 10 games. And they've got some difficult games coming up. We'll see next week. One of the stories in the league will certainly be the health of Doug Brumfield. That'll be the opponent for Air Force. But Blake Anderson's group back on the horse. And the Aggies, in a back-and-forth game, prevail 34-27. It snaps Utah State's 4-game losing streak. They're now 1-1 in the league, 4 straight divisional games ahead, and a great night in Logan. In the starting home debut for Cooper Lagai, he delivered.
Guy, when you have a game like this and you know it's on you got to circle it and say, hey, we have to find a way to win it. They did that tonight. Couldn't ask for better things from Utah State.
So what lies ahead? Maybe more of a wild night here in the Mountain West. Our final score, Utah State 34-27. Let's get you out to Boise, Idaho. Fresno State, Boise State. Here's Alex Faust at Petros